welcome to What Do You Think of This? We are revisiting the best things from our past to let you know whether they're the best things for your future. I'm Jeff Abyad, and with me is Josue Escobar.
What's up, everybody?
Got to work in that applause sound effect.
Yeah.
I'm excited about today. We're going to be talking about what I remember. If anybody asked me my favorite movies for years, it was certainly in my top 5, maybe top 3, Gladiator.
Yeah.
And but before that, I also have a quiz that I'm going to walk you through that I think is appropriate for it today. But before we get into any of that, we were talking about this right before we hit record. The re-release album of Creed's
Creed
Human
just
Clay.
came out,
Yeah. And
So
I've been
crazy.
listening to it. It's funny, we were talking about it last week, everything about the album, how, our opinions, all that stuff. Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
But I found myself going back to the album even before the deluxe was released. And going,
Really?
I think I want to just listen to it one more time. Enough that I'm done now.
Yeah, I was talking about it with other people, and again, every time we kept talking about it, we kept going back to the sound of like the guitars and the snare and the drum kit, like how well produced and how awesome that those sounded.
I'm waiting
So
for
good.
you to listen to this remastered one to see if you notice a difference. Honestly,
yeah, I'll listen to it.
I don't know the original well enough, and nothing is standing out as a huge difference that I'm noticing. Although I think we talked about maybe dialing up some of the background stuff. Maybe that happened.
Maybe are there live versions of these on this album?
Yeah, which
Okay,
I didn't really get to.
So I'm sure it's going to sound a little different for sure.
I got through the album and I got to a couple extra tracks at the end that I didn't recognize.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't even know the names of them.
Yeah, we were talking about one of them. It's called Ode, and it's from the first album. So they're remastering some of the older songs and putting them into Human Clay.
There's also a couple songs that I didn't recognize once you hit the end because they have that strings version of Arms Wide Open, which I still kind of like. Young, Grow Old. Do you know that?
I can't recall it right now off the
To
top of my
Whom
head.
It May Concern, and Is This the End? Okay, I had never heard any of the songs.
Yeah.
I'll give you 3 guesses what key they're in.
D.
Yes, drop D,
Of
big
course.
fat drop D.
Of course. Oh my gosh.
So I don't know. It was fun. I liked re-listening to it, and we were listening to also. Disney is releasing a new album of covers of something, and they've got Eye to Eye from a Goofy movie.
Oh,
on
really?
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
The
That's
album
awesome.
is just coming out right now. My kids are like, "How did you know this was coming out?" I'm like, "Nope,
No, the world is a funny place.
we're just that good."
Yeah. Did you know? I don't know if they're on Creed is on tour now with like a different bass player or anything like that, but like their third album, Weathered, was only the 3 of them.
Yeah, you said that the bass player
I
left.
did.
Like you said that he was there for the recording, but then when they toured,
Yeah, he was
left.
out. Yeah. So I don't know why they never found another guy to replace the bass player, but
oh, you mean they're on tour right now without him?
they're probably with a guy who's
Somebody else.
Yeah, somebody else is filling it because Mark Tremonti played the bass on the third album.
Or you think they would never do it with a track, right? They're not the type of band that would.
No,
That
looks weird.
I was just at an event the other night, and it was one of those where they're playing, and I don't mind a track. We use tracks, if you're adding some extra textures or something, but I'm watching the guy play the acoustic, and I hear another acoustic. I go, okay.
Yep.
Okay, now, what are we doing here?
Yup, they couldn't just bring somebody else up on stage.
I would have done it.
Yeah. Hey, we need another acoustic guitar player.
Does anybody here play the acoustic? That's my dream.
500 people lift their hands up.
We're ready. I had a conversation with
Has that ever been like your fantasy going into a concert?
That is exactly my fantasy. When I was playing the drums, I would hope that would happen every time.
Like the drummer had sprained his wrist. Oh, anyone know our songs well enough to come up and play?
I'm at a Newsboys concert. We need to strap you into the rotating drum machine.
Wow.
Have you seen their rotating drums?
No.
They're still doing it all these years later.
My
where that was like
gosh.
the thing. The drummer would the whole drum set would elevate into the air and spin, and then turn sideways and spin.
I've seen other bands have that. Like Blink-182 had that. I forget the Tommy Lee Jones. Forget what band Tommy Lee played for, but he did that too.
I don't know, and who knows who came up with it, but I remember watching the Newsboys do this in concert when I was early teens. So we were talking the early 90s. It was the coolest thing ever.
That's so wild.
I was having a conversation with my kids this week. We were in the car wash. This is what brought it up. And Lucy's like, I remember being very scared of this. Why was I so scared? You know, are your kids scared of the car wash?
Yeah. No, they get psyched every time.
Now they are. Now my kids are. I don't know. Maybe it was different from kid to kid, but I do remember her like, no, like didn't want to go in. You know, I couldn't go in, or she would have to close her eyes or something. And she was like,
it's a scary noise.
Why was I scared of so many things? And then we were listing all the stuff, and we got to music.
Yeah.
And there were certain songs that she was afraid of.
Oh.
And I don't know if your kids have this, but one of them was Justin Timberlake's Strawberry Bubblegum.
No.
It has this really deep voice at the beginning that's like, hey, baby.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of creepy sounding or whatever. But she was like, why was I scared of this? And also, why would you play this if I was scared of it?
Yeah.
I was like, I
wanted to see your reaction.
Yeah, I don't know. I came across really mean. I'm like, I swear I was couldn't have been trying to be mean. They're like, yes, you were.
They're so
painting
funny.
this picture of me, this terrible, abusive, like, here, listen to this. But I don't, that we were talking about a bunch of stuff like that. But the other thing that came up, and the reason I brought this up to you, because I was going to suggest as one of our episodes, we put on Peter and the Wolf. Have you heard do you know Peter and the Wolf?
I vaguely.
Okay, it's a story told through the orchestra. So they will each instrument represents an animal or a character, you know.
Like
so
the
Peter,
wolf.
the wolf is the horns.
Okay.
The brass, and the grandfather is the bassoon and whatever. So the narrator sets it up at the beginning, and then you're listening to this story, and the orchestra is playing, and then he'll narrate.
Well, that's cool.
It's great.
Yeah.
And terrifying for children. I don't know why. We listen to it now. I'm like, they're now brave enough. My children are old enough to listen to it. And they're like, why are we scared of this? I don't know. And they're like, they put it on me. Like, you just made a scary dad.
That's so funny.
Maybe I did, but I remember being scared of it as a kid.
Really?
Listening to it at my cousin's house, I can still remember hiding under the dining room table when the wolf would come. Like, ooh, you know.
See, now I'm going to listen to this thing.
Yeah, but I was going to suggest it, but I think Ezra would hate it.
Yeah, probably. Ezra hates everything old.
Yeah, you like to have to sit there and listen to the whole thing, and the narrator's voice is all old. Oh, man. Yeah. Have you been doing anything exciting this last week?
Well, I mean, just so at church, at work, we've been getting ready for our night of worship. And we're recording 2 songs.
That's fun.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Original songs that the team has written.
Nice.
And we're recording them. So it was pretty busy as far as like getting things ready, audio visual wise. We rented a bunch of room mics.
Yeah.
So that we could capture room sound a little bit better. We actually tested them out this weekend. It sounded really, really good.
Nice.
Yeah. So, there's just redundancies in recording that we're setting up. We're planning on doing some different angles and things for video. I don't know if we're going to put out a music video per se, but just have something that we can actually like promote what we did with it. And then the audio is going to get mixed and mastered by other people, not us in-house, because I think that's just the best way to do it. I mean, you don't want the same ears capturing it and doing all the stuff to mix it and then, master it. So it's going to be a real project. And
that's exciting. I'm excited for you guys.
It's really busy. So this week's going to be a pretty long week. We've got Tuesday, just a regular day, but then we've got the rehearsal for it. I mean, the run through for it. A full production run through for it. Wednesday is the day of, so we've got a regular day at work, but then also the actual night of.
Wow.
And then hopefully Thursday is a little bit calmer. I'm gonna have to clean everything up, start returning some things that we rented for it, and then.
Are you guys planning on doing any sort of overdubs if you need to?
I'm not sure. Hopefully we don't have to.
Yeah.
But if we have to, we're set up for it. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Where'd you put the room mics?
So there's like 4 of them across the stage. And there's going to be 4 of them at the media booth area, like the front of house. We
were at that event on Friday night, and there was a room mic. I'm talking like closer than I am to you.
Yeah.
Right in front of me. And I'm thinking, do I need to be careful how loud I clap?
Yeah.
Saying the guy next to me didn't care. He was going for it.
That's good. Well, no, I mean, so there's like this misconception, especially if they're like for shotgun mics, they do get a subject further away from it. But really, I mean, there's still physics involved. It's still the pattern that it picks up is a cone. So the further away it is, the wider it's going to pick up,
Right.
So the more you can get these mics closer to people and more of them, once you blend them together,
sure,
then it sounds like this whole big picture.
I was trying to harmonize really well, though. I'm hoping I get it on the album.
Yeah. Were they recording it for like an album?
I think,
Wow.
they're producing something, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, so anyway, yeah, I've heard of some places having like up to like 12 room mics in the room.
Okay.
And, super close, about 2 to 3 feet away from each like crowd, wherever they're hanging.
Right.
And then you put them all together. You can't tell that they were that close to just one person. But as the audio
engineer, you can go, I don't like the guy in front of this one. I'm turning it down.
Yeah. Or auto-tune that person.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
It's like auto-tune the room. That would be some weird effect.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's one of those challenges too, is if you're auto-tuning, and this is going into depth into audio stuff. So if you don't know about audio stuff,
just skip ahead. I should have mentioned there's bookmark notes in the notes. So if you're like, nope, thanks. Take me to the quiz.
But one of the things that you really have to like kind of balance is if you are using autotune on a vocalist live, it's going through the speakers, and you have room mics, it's going to hit the room mics as well.
Sure.
So you have to make sure that anomaly of like doesn't happen when you hear the auto tune in the room mics or not, or whatever. Because when you're mixing,
you're not hearing the auto tune vocal in the room, like on the live speakers. You're not hearing the auto tune, only in the recording.
They're like blending a little. Yeah, so it's a little bit. If you're using it in the room, you don't use it drastically, obviously.
Yeah, but you might
in the recording. You probably could really, really fix things. And and then you blend the room mic in with the raw audio.
I don't know how normal this is because we use like on Sundays we'll have pitch correction going on, which is a huge help. It cleans up so much. We're putting.
Does it go into your ears, or do you not hear it?
Okay, well, that's what I was gonna say. We don't. No, it doesn't.
I feel like that would throw you off even more.
And I feel like I have to explain to the uninitiated, if you just saw the stream on YouTube and there was no auto-tune, like it would not sound pleasant. There's a lot going on a Sunday.
Yeah.
The best of vocalists, there's going to be whatever. So it just cleans up some of those small things. But we were running some songs and we were doing a new song on Sunday, and then I wanted to practice the transition, and I was just MDing. I wasn't even singing. So we went back a song to just hit the ending and then do. And I always love those moments because it's like not worth them recalibrating like the pitch for each song in the back. So they just leave it, and you have to listen to 4 bars of this auto-tune to the wrong key out in the house, but not in your ears.
Yeah.
It's just that blending is just so terrible and weird sounding.
So you really have to be careful with it. So yeah, I mean, if something like that does happen, maybe we'll overdub. I don't know. You can't overdub the crowd though, so hopefully the crowd behaves too.
Yeah. You get excited people. You don't almost like, do we tell them we're recording? Do we not? Because you want them to be.
They already know.
You want them to be engaged, but then you don't want the one guy that's like,
Yeah, exactly.
Every Passion album, there's one guy that's like, Jesus!
Yeah.
Like, okay, man.
And you just mix that and make it sound like he's further away than he really was.
Yeah, and that's probably exactly what they did. Did I tell you about the project that we recorded way back in the day at my older church? And, it was an old system. So the building had been there for years. Cables run on top of cables. It was a nightmare.
I bet.
And we were doing a youth project. And so not this one, but the follow-up to this album that I have here on my shelf. And it was going to be great. And somebody turned on a hairdryer in the women's restroom, which happened to be under the makeshift studio. And we didn't know this until afterwards. And we're all like, that was so great. What an awesome event. Felt like everything went so well. And the AAV engineer is like, sorry, guys, all of our equipment shut off. I didn't record any of it. I couldn't.
What?
Yeah. It was a long time ago. So fail safe. It was, one of our first projects.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So sad.
And everybody knows, I think we've been telling people already, like, come, we're going to be recording 2 of our original songs. We've already sang these. People, hopefully the congregation knows them. We have redundancies. We're going to record to like 3 different places and not just 1 or 2.
Just in case you lose the memory card.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing that has always happened without fail at a night of worship, though, is we've always had some type of like close call where the power goes out.
Yeah.
Like 5-10 minutes before service.
No.
Something goes wrong with audio. Like there's no audio coming out of the speakers. This happened the last time where we had to like manually, me and Andy, our audio contractor, had to manually splice cables into the amps.
5 minutes ahead of time or something?
It was like 3, 2, 1. And they're like, welcome everybody, as like speakers were turning on as we were splicing cables in. Yeah, it was crazy. So
did I tell you?
Prayers it doesn't happen this time.
This was like a month ago. We were getting ready to start, and our live stream is on like an auto cue, so it'll start counting down. The stream is going live, and somebody walked by our makeshift media booth, which thank God has evolved a little bit, but it's still not built in.
Yeah,
and was saying hi to somebody on the media team and clipped the cables with their purse.
Oh gosh!
And pulled the whole media computer off the table.
Oh no!
Like we're on stage, the countdown is going, and you can still hear it, but the projector's off, and we don't know what's going on, and nobody knew how to restart the stream. We ended up being like a few minutes delayed because I had to run back there and manually like plug everything back in and restart the stream while our team was like trying to figure stuff out.
Oh geez!
And nobody else knows. Everybody else is like, "Hey, how come we started late?" And I'm like, "Well, somebody yanked the entire computer off the table. It's a miracle that we're all still here and smiling."
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it was crazy.
Those things happen.
Well, okay, I got a quiz for you today, themed on this episode.
Let's do it.
If you don't know already, our lead actor in this movie, Russell Crowe, Mr. Russell Crowe, I want to call him Sir Russell Crowe. I don't think he's knighted. Is from Australia. So I have a full list here of Australian slang terms.
I'm not going to know any of these. This is great.
I'll try and give you some hints along the way, okay, to get you there. What do you think an ankle biter is?
A little kid.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. See, these are easier than you think. Just go with your Australian
toddler or a baby. Yep.
Okay. A cold one. What's a cold one?
A brewski.
Yeah. On this list, I didn't include them all. There were so many different Australian words for beer.
Oh, really?
It was like too many. You're like, okay, you guys have a
Australian for beer.
That wasn't on the list. Barbie.
Barbecue.
Yeah.
Nice.
See, you know all these. You're from Australia.
Wow.
Okay, this one you're not going to know. Maybe you'll know, but I think you'll appreciate it. Akadaka. What are Australians talking about when they refer to Akadaka?
Footwear.
It's a band from Australia.
Oh, Akadaka. Do you mean AC/DC?
AC/DC. That's how they say AC/DC.
Akadaka.
At least according to this list.
Wow. I said footwear. Just threw one in the dark.
What has a bonnet and also has a boot? Something you use every day.
A car.
Yeah.
What's an English thing?
It is, yeah. It's kind of bled over. What's an Aussie salute? There's no way you're going to get this.
When they, when someone spits in your face.
No. It's terrible. No, it's when you're waving to scare away the flies.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they probably have a lot of flies. Huge flies, probably. Too.
Yeah, giant. You need to wave.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a booze bus?
A booze bus? Is that just a bunch of drunk people in a bus?
Nope, it's the other side. It's the police vehicle that's used to catch drunk drivers.
What?
Yeah. They probably load up with
the drunk tank.
Yeah.
That was close.
Is that a term too?
Yeah, here in the U.S.
Never
the drunk
heard of
tank.
It. Yeah. Never been in it, never heard of it. Chock-a-block. When something is chock-a-block, that means it is full. Yep.
What?
This one I like.
Wow.
Okay, I'm starting to go alphabetical here, but I didn't mean to. What is a chalky bicky?
A chalky bicky? That's got to be like a chocolate bar or something.
Yeah, it's a chocolate biscuit.
Oh, nice.
I want to just start incorporating some of these into my everyday life. If you're going to eat at Macca's, where are you?
McDonald's?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And you know the word heaps?
Like a lot of stuff?
Yep. You're doing really well, I have to say. Do you know what a dunny is?
A dunny? No. A diner?
No, it's a toilet. Don't get those two confused.
You don't want to eat at a dunny.
How about mates rates?
Mates rates? Not like a rate that a mate charges you for something?
Yes, it's a discounted price for a friend.
Nice.
Yeah. PowerPoint? No, it's
the
not
presentation software
no.
that I hate.
No, but you use this daily.
PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Like a nap?
No, that's a good one.
coffee?
I like that. No, it's an electrical outlet.
An electrical outlet. Oh, PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Points.
This one I thought was funny. There's no way you're going to get it. Shark biscuit. means kids at the beach.
Oh, really?
Shark biscuits.
Oh, because they're little snacks for sharks.
If you're Australian and listening to this, please let me know how many of these are actually accurate because who knows? This list is really painting a picture of Australia. Okay, I like this one too. What is a sickie?
Someone who's sick.
Or what does it mean to pull a sickie?
Oh, to like call in sick at work?
Yeah. And this says when you're not actually sick.
Oh,
you can pull a sickie or you can chuck a sickie.
Chuck a sickie.
Okay, I'm tailing this off here. This one was a slogan, so I don't know how many Australians actually say this. Maybe they would just be more familiar with it. Mm-hmm. Slip, slop, slap.
Dude, that's not a good thing.
Slip, slop, slap. It means to slip on a shirt, slop on sunscreen, and slap on a hat.
Oh, wow. To go out to the beach or something? Wow.
Yeah, this is something I need to embrace in my day-to-day for my kids. Everybody, slip, slop, slap. You're whiter than you realize.
Lather some sunblock.
All right, 2 more. You know what good on you means.
Oh, good job.
Yeah. Well done. Good job. Crikey was also in my list there. Okay, this last one. Do you know what tracky dacks are?
Is that an 8-track?
No.
4-track?
No.
Tracky dack.
Dacks. Dacks is something you use probably almost every day. And then tracky dacks are a very specific kind of them.
No, I have no idea.
So dacks is like slacks or pants.
Oh, God.
Tracky dacks would be like sweatpants or tracksuit pants.
I thought so. I thought tracky, like, I don't know.
Do you own any tracky dacks?
I do.
Do you? Like the kind when you walk in and go, or
No.
are they sweats?
Sweats,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or joggers.
No. Regular sweatpants.
Remember how
I don't think I have joggers.
pants were so uncool and now, well, I guess now they're like actually cut to fit. I just remember as a kid wearing sweatpants and then going, why did I wear those?
They're so baggy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're comfortable. They're supposed to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just bought a new pair of jeans the other day. They're still not baggy. I'm like not ready to make that transition yet.
I don't think I'm ever going to make that transition.
I know, we talked about that, and I'm waiting for the day when I go, like, I've done it.
Yeah. I won't.
I bought some MC Hammer pants.
No way. I can't believe it's all coming back.
All right. We have something fun to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it.
Gladiator is a movie about a guy who's a general in the Roman Empire, and he gets told that he's going to be the next ruler of Rome, but then something happens and he gets sold into slavery, and so he becomes a gladiator. Are you not entertained?
Gladiator!
So good. I had so much fun watching this movie again.
Okay. I remember watching this when it came out in theaters. Do you know what year this came out?
Oh my gosh, I forget.
2000.
Oh, wow.
I guess that makes sense because I saw it. Well, I would have just turned 18 probably around then.
Yeah.
And I remember this being one of the first R-rated movies that either I saw in the theater, maybe on my own, or also that I just really liked.
Yeah.
It was around the same time, I think Patriot. Remember when that came out?
Gosh,
around the same time. There's a couple other movies like this.
That's so awesome.
But man, this movie.
2000 doesn't seem like that long ago, but man, you're talking 24 years ago.
Yes, we're old.
Wow.
Did you see this in the theaters when it came out?
No, I definitely saw this at home.
I for sure saw it in the theater. I don't know how many times. I might have gone back.
I know I've seen this a bajillion times. It's such a great movie.
I know you have to. And it has such a great cast.
I know.
Russell Crowe, I don't know if he was in anything huge, but this breakout role for sure.
Yeah, it had to be.
Joaquin Phoenix, I'd never seen him in anything until this.
He's like the perfect creepy bad guy, dude.
Well cast.
So good.
Connie Nielsen as Lucilla is great. And is she in anything else? I didn't look her up on IMDb, but awesome. Yeah, Oliver Reed, who plays Proximo, was in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And Jimon Hansu, who is now in the Avengers universe.
Yeah, man.
I was expecting one of my kids to point that out, but nobody did, and I forgot to circle back. It was late when we finished. Yeah. And there's a Gladiator 2 coming out.
I know,
in November.
Which is wild. I just saw that today.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Ridley Scott is I think
he's doing his thing.
He might just be. No, I think he's directing it again.
I think so too. Well, and Ridley Scott, he did some of the Alien movies, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Alien. He did.
Have you seen
Alien?
them?
I think the Alien Covenant, the one that just came out.
What?
No, he did that one.
Alien Romulus.
Romulus? Okay, yeah, Romulus.
I've never seen any of the Alien
What a
movies.
great director. I mean, geez.
When I started putting down like everything that he's done, and he did The Martian, which I haven't seen.
I haven't seen that one either. Wait. The Martian is the one with Matt Damon? Yes, I have seen that. Sorry. Yeah.
He did the most recent Napoleon with Joaquin Phoenix. I haven't seen that.
I saw that. It wasn't that great.
No. Speaking of not that great, he also did Exodus, Gods and Kings. You ever see that?
Not that great either.
Oh no, the beginning of this list is all like Robin Hood. Did you see the new Robin Hood?
No.
It's not even the new one anymore because there's other ones since then. But that was also Russell Crowe.
Oh wow.
Kingdom of Heaven.
Oh yeah.
Orlando Bloom.
That one was okay, but it's really slow going.
He did Black Hawk Down.
Oh, that was a good one.
Hannibal, I haven't seen, but I know it's well known and well liked. Thelma and Louise.
Really?
Yes.
Man, I didn't know that.
Blade Runner, also him.
Oh wow.
The original. I've not seen him, so I don't know anything about that.
Wow.
And to top it all off, he did the Apple Mac 1984 introducing the Macintosh commercial.
Oh wow. For
like the iconic Olympian or whatever throwing the hammer through the that's and all the people marching or whatever.
Wow.
That was him.
What was the Apple's name? The guy's name?
Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs. Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
I can't believe that.
I know, right?
This is going to get blocked from Apple Podcasts.
This guy does it.
Yeah, take it down. Yeah, what an opening this movie.
Such a great just establishment of the character, Maximus.
With the hand general. Through the field, though, I read that not only was intended for a different part of the movie and then brought to the front as sort of a framing device, but is also the hand of his stunt double.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. I like that kind of stuff.
Listen, I have a weed allergy.
Wow. They couldn't bother. Hey, we don't really need him for this. We don't have to pay him for this shot. Get the stunt double in.
Do you think Russell Crowe can walk through a field without just
doing that?
Yeah, rubbing his fingers through the...
What did your kids call those? Hot dogs on sticks? The cattails?
Yeah, that's right. But it cuts from that to the battle sequence. And we've been doing this now a little bit. So what is your protocol for how you're watching stuff? Are you just watching it and then remembering? Because you have a great memory. I'm taking notes oftentimes when I'm watching, but this movie, I wanted to watch it. I want to watch them all, but you know what I mean?
But no, I'm watching it. I'm not taking notes. I'm just reliving it again. There are mental notes, whatever, that I'm remembering. But there's things that, I watched the beginning of this movie and it's just how I remembered it.
Yeah.
Now, question. Did you watch the extended version?
I don't think so. I watched whatever was available on Prime.
There's extra scenes that I feel really give a little more context.
You have to tell me about it because I don't think I watched them.
I will. The beginning, where he is going through the soldiers, they're all saluting him. He walks up, he gets to the very front and he tells Quintus, any news yet? Nope. It's been 2 hours. Don't have the guy who's the negotiating between them and who are they battling in the beginning?
Germania.
Yeah, the Germanian. All of a sudden, you see the guy, the soldier on a horse. He says, "Oh, they say no."
They say no.
But you don't know why he says that until you see the frame of the guy with no head on the thing. So it's he sees the guy riding up. He says, "They say no. They refuse because this guy's coming back with his head cut off."
Yep.
And Quintus says, "Why don't people know when they're conquered?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Would you, Quintus?
Would
I?" Which is a really cool, later, he is a slave. He's a gladiator. He's pretty much conquered. Can't do anything as a slave.
Yeah.
But he refuses. And you'll see in the movie, he rebels. Just like these people, they don't know that they're conquered, but they're going to try their hardest.
This movie is saying a lot about what it is to believe in something and try and convince somebody else by force. You know what I mean? When it comes, and that's sort of that idea. They're not just passing on an ideology, but as you flesh out more of his character, you get Maximus as this ideologue, he believes in what Rome stands for.
Yeah, he believes in honor.
And strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
And that's what he's saying. He believes it's worth it to take over all these people for the sake of what Rome is.
Rome is the light.
And they just don't know it yet. And he gets, though, that they wouldn't want to just give up,
Yeah.
I think it does a really good job framing this whole movie.
No. And the guy with the like you said, he's holding that guy's head. And what he yells out, I always remember what he yells out. Asik the Fuktunda. He throws it.
How do you remember that? I did not remember that.
I remember those
I thought you were going to say actual English words.
No. Whatever he says.
He's like, how did I not remember that line? Yeah, that's
don't know what he's saying. I should really look it up because I probably said something really bad. He's probably saying death to Romans. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll never give up our land or our freedom.
Yeah.
No.
And then they get ready for the battle.
What we do in life echoes in eternity.
Yes.
He's given that inspirational speech. Is that what you mean?
He leaves to go to this other...
With his cavalry.
Yeah, with his other cavalry that
you don't
hidden.
know is hidden.
They're hidden and the Germanians don't know. And he's telling them, do not be afraid. If you find yourself riding in green pastures...
You're in Elysium.
Yeah, do not be afraid, for you are in Elysium and you're already dead. It's like, yeah, dude.
And they're like, yeah. We could die.
Yeah. So good.
And the whole sequence, and this is why I was asking if you were watching, taking notes, because it was so well shot.
Oh my gosh. Did you think about how many soldiers, how many extras they have in this, how big of a scene this was, but how for me it always feels short, that fight. I feel like it could have gone a lot longer, but they just give you enough to want more.
Yeah,
but they also show you enough to be like, oh, that was awesome.
I think that same thing, and that's exactly what I want. I don't want too much. I want just enough, and to go, oh yeah, and it all felt so well done.
Because they show you real timing, real time and slow motion portions mixed in. That is so good.
Yeah, and I read that forest that they're in, wherever they are, was already scheduled to be demolished or something like that. And they made a deal hey, can we burn this down? And they're like, oh, sure.
Wow.
I'm sure there was a lot of paperwork involved, but they demolished it.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, the arrows with the fire. Dude, yeah, they really do.
That's a lot going on there. But you get shots of Maximus fighting among his soldiers, which sets a lot of his
I love the whole fight sequence, the way they end it. But he gets knocked off his horse, not before chopping someone's head off really cleanly. And he's fighting different people. He gets up, and then there's another Roman soldier that bumps into him, gets right behind him, and he's about to kill him. And he's like, wait, nope, I recognize you as one of my soldiers.
Hey, buddy.
That was a really good shot of and he smiles, kind of okay, if I'm bumping into my own soldiers, that means this looks good, we're winning.
Yeah.
Even towards the end where they kind of are winning, you still see guys get killed on the Roman side. One Roman soldier, that one shot where he plunges his short sword into the enemy, and then right behind him, the bad guy plunges his short sword into him in his back. Oh man, that must really that's terrible. You're like, yes, I'm getting
bummer.
But that's war, you got to watch your back even if you're killing someone else.
I always wonder that in all of these epic battles and shows and whatever, how do you ensure that you're not hitting people on your team side?
You gotta
army.
You gotta be able to recognize your guy beforehand.
But you know how friendly fire is a thing.
Well, they didn't have guns.
But is there an equivalent to that with a sword where whoops, you're whoa, I didn't recognize this guy before I hit him. Sorry.
Maybe not. But yeah, he definitely smiled when he saw that soldier. That soldier was looking at him like, oh, don't kill me.
Yeah, I know what you can do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it also really does establish Maximus as this really strong. I mean, he got knocked off a horse and still didn't die. Dude.
Yeah, and as a man of the people, because then it flips over to Commodus in his carriage with his sister Lucilla, and he's dreaming about becoming emperor.
Oh gosh.
Do you think our dad's really dying?
Yeah, I hope he is. Oh my gosh, that guy, he was terrible.
And she's already from the beginning, she's stop scheming,
Yeah.
And they're setting up the character, but you're I already don't like this guy.
Oh, dude.
What a good actor.
What a good actor. Because he makes you, he's really good at making you hate him, for sure.
Is he in anything where he's endearing? I remember him in Signs and chuckling at that. Joaquin Phoenix? Is he just always playing? Because I know he's the Joker.
Yeah, he does a great job in that too.
I know.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's in a what's the word? Endearing role.
Yeah, I'm just trying to is he really just that good? He just plays a great villain.
He does. He really does.
Yeah, and he shows up and he comes to find the Emperor and he's asking, where are they? And the guy's like, they've been gone 19 days.
Yeah.
And he's
Wild.
just showing up right at the end. And he leaves his sister and he's like, kiss.
Oh, yeah. He's such a creeper. And he gets even worse through the movie.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And he's, have I missed the battle?
You missed the war? I love the actor, the Marcus Aurelius actor. He's so good too.
Yeah.
He's so good.
I didn't even mention to my kids I was Dumbledore, but
oh yeah.
Yeah. Or at least
he was also John in some straight to DVD movie of John the Apostle John.
Oh,
remember that?
John, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, I do remember. I don't think I saw that. But meanwhile, Maximus is there among his soldiers, even after the whole thing, after they greet him, welcome him, Commodus, and he shows up.
Yes.
And you can tell that the dad and the son are estranged.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, he prefers. And it shows Maximus as
he helps him on the horse.
Yeah, he's getting on his horse. Bring me my horse. He gets on the horse, and I guess the stirrups or whatever the contraption is to be strapped into the horse. Maximus is here's my sword. I'm gonna go help him.
Mm-hmm.
When the son didn't do that, no one else does that. He just
the son just cares about himself.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And he's like, you know what? You're the son that I should have had. Or didn't he say something like that to him? I don't know. Right off the horse, you can tell there's that interplay already.
Oh, no, he says so much for the glory of Rome.
Oh.
Because it's dude, that's a jab at his son.
Yeah.
Because he's technically the heir to the throne. And he's so much for the glory of Rome.
And then they cut to their sort of celebration and Commodus is with all the politicians,
Oh, so this is where you the cuts, there's a extended version.
Okay.
You missed this part.
Okay.
So so you see Maximus walking into that tent where they're all with the politicians. But before that, and they kind of establish this, they make it even more of a point of Maximus is one of the guys. He's walking along the tents where the soldiers that have been mutilated, and hurt.
Yeah, all the injured.
He's walking amongst them and looking at these guys get no legs, no arms, hurt, crying, and he's comforting them, walking amongst them, looking at all this stuff and this heaviness of man, this sucks. This is terrible.
Yeah.
He's doing that right before he walks into the tent with the politicians.
So yeah, even more highlights.
Yeah. So when they ask him that question, what do you think, a republic or empire? He's like, well, I have the benefit of looking my enemy in the face.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a soldier. You guys are in here while all those guys that just,
right,
did conquer these people for you are out there suffering.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wild.
That is intense.
Yeah.
So, did they release this at some point? I don't
know.
Remember it even coming out with extended scenes. I remember back in the day, having the disc and then having an extra disc with all the bonus features and cut stuff. So maybe it was on that. Remember when you used to have to do that?
Yeah,
and just watch scene by scene. And I think a friend of mine had borrowed one of the others, and I never got it back. And it might have been that. Yeah. So
I'm sure the commentary for all this was really cool.
Yeah, remember those? Yeah. We don't do those anymore. You watch the whole thing with Marcus Aurelius telling you at this point I was...
I don't remember this scene at all.
I had gout. And that's why you helped me onto the horse with my foot.
Wow.
The power dynamic, though, you get at play with Commodus and Maximus. You get that their tension between them, and they don't ever explain why they knew each other from such a young age, because you get the note that Maximus has never been to Rome.
Yeah.
But you don't understand why they knew each other as children. Because you get Lucilla and Maximus to
have a history.
Yeah. And you get Lucilla and her father, who obviously really loves her and wishes she was a man so she could take over.
If you would have been born a man, you would have been, what did he say?
What an emperor you would have been.
Mm-hmm. But would you have been just?
Oh, look for when he says let us pretend that I'm a loving father and you're a what does he say?
That you're a loving daughter and I'm a good father.
Oh, Oh, heartbreaking.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, and he says it later on to Maximus, 40 years that he's been Caesar and 2 years of peace in 40.
Yeah.
And so he's dedicated his life to, expanding Rome. So yeah, he wasn't given enough time to be a good father.
No. And meanwhile, his son is out there training with his
whatever those people are.
Well,
but it's all
Maximus is with his soldiers again.
Yeah.
That's like what he's focused on because his whole life is just about taking on the legacy.
Yeah, being the man, being like the guy in the spotlight.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. It shows how humble Maximus is and how not humble.
Yeah.
What's his name? Commodus is. And, I don't know if this happens. This happens afterwards where, he tells him, I'm gonna give my power will go to you.
Mm-hmm.
And Maximus is like, I can't do it. And he's like,
is why it must be you.
Yeah, because he's so humble, and that's like a thing today too. The guys that, not good to go into politics today, but the people that really need to be the ones like leading are the ones that are like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, they're there to serve. They're there, because they have to be, or they see a need and they're filling it, not because they want the position.
Yeah.
They want the perks. They want the benefits.
Yeah.
And even so, the Emperor Marcus Aurelius is coming to terms with his legacy, like you said, all these years of fighting and stuff. And he says that line of like, when a man sees his end, he wants to know there was purpose in his life, and he's trying to figure out. And so he's trying to leave a legacy now, which involves him handing this over. What he wants to do now is hand it over to Maximus in trust, to then just give it over
to the Senate.
Yeah.
To the Republic. Rome must be the people's again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was once a dream. That was Rome.
You only whisper it. Whisper. Such a great actor, dude.
Yeah. And I love the interplay with his daughter too. Thank God for a movie with a strong female. Here she is, She's like, great character.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I can't imagine this movie without her in it.
Yeah. I mean, she's the one that kind of puts a lot of stuff into motion too for Maximus in the future.
Yeah. And so when Maximus is having that conversation with Marcus Aurelius and he's talking about his home, he's like, tell me about your home.
Oh, yeah. He goes, how long has it been? He's just like, what?
To the year, right? He's
like,
to
the year and to the day. Oh months. My gosh, an hour. Wow. And this,
And you get, like you said, he doesn't want to be involved in Rome and the politics. He just wants to get back to his family. Yeah. And I
love how he, like, as an actor, as a character too, is like when you are asked about something you're passionate about, how your demeanor changes.
Yeah.
Because when he's sitting down, he's very serious. He's like, when he first walks into the room, Marcus is writing on a piece of paper or whatever. He's writing in his journal, and he says, you summoned me, Caesar? And he doesn't say anything. And he's like, you summoned me, Caesar? Like, hey, I'm here. Like, whatever. But his demeanor is all just
official,
yeah. And Marcus really says something about like, man, all this killing, all this conquering, and for what? Maximus is like, dude, all my people have just died for this. Yeah. Like, there is a reason. I'm not going to think that there's no reason for this, because Rome is the light, you know? But then when he asks him about his family and his home, his whole face changes.
Yeah.
He starts like remembering like the herbs in the evening and all that kind of stuff.
Russell Crowe is actually talking about his actual home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes a difference, man. That's probably why. And then he mentions his wife's hair, black, the dirt is black like my wife's hair. Yeah. And both of them smile big. It's such a good back and forth. I would have loved to have been in the room for that moment.
Yeah. I read that Ridley Scott, when he was putting this film together, didn't want any cliches of like, emperors laying on couches eating grapes or whatever. He wanted it to feel real. Mm. And I like the human interplay between these characters, I think is what this movie does really well in ways that are sometimes scary or disgusting or, like you said, like really it fills you with longing. You're getting what this guy is feeling.
Yeah.
Even though it's in the middle of this, like cutting people's heads off and blood, all this violent, horrific stuff.
I mean, that's a testament to that humanity right there. Humanity can go from one end to the other pretty quickly.
And so this is the point of the movie, I understand. The plot conflict gets set up here where he tells him this, but Maximus is like, I need to make a decision. And he tells him, I trust that you'll tell me by sunset or whatever. Yeah. And he leaves and doesn't...
but he says, now bring an old man another blanket.
Yeah. And more humanity. But he doesn't tell anybody else.
Oh, I know.
There's not even a servant in there. You get it. It's a delicate subject. This is a big deal. And in comes Commodus.
Oh, he's like, what about Commodus? He's like, Commodus is not a moral man.
Yeah.
He cannot rule. He shall not rule.
And he comes in and he knows. And he tells him pretty straight out, you're not going to be the emperor.
Yeah. But why does he hide? Commodus walks into the room. And Marcus Aurelius is like, he sees him and he like kind of like backs it into a corner a little bit. Like,
oh, does he?
Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
But maybe it's that whole like, I have to tell you something and I don't want to tell you.
Yeah, he's like watching his actions because he's like looking around and he starts staring at the statue of his father.
He's observing.
He's observing how he acts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you ready to do your duty for Rome? And he's like, yeah, let's go. Yeah. And he's like, you will not be emperor.
Womp, womp, womp.
Oh my God.
Oh.
And which man is it to take my spot, my position? He goes, my powers will go to Maximus for one reason alone, to go back to the people.
But all he can think about, you can see right at that moment, Commodus is just like, Maximus, this guy.
Yep.
I hate this guy.
Yep, exactly.
Always Maximus. It was like having an older brother that you can never live up to, except it's not even your brother.
Oh gosh. Probably like Cain and Abel.
It's this other guy. Don't even share DNA with this guy. And he is better than me. And my father loves him. And he talks about like, you wrote me a letter once about the 4 virtues.
Yep. And when as I read them, I knew I had none of them. Wow.
None of my virtues were on your list.
But I have other virtues, Father. Dude, this scene.
It is despicable and pitiable and awful.
Oh gosh, man.
When because Lucy...
Commodus, you go too far. Poor
Your
man.
failures as a son are my failures as a father.
Dude.
It's like heartbreaking.
I know.
And the whole time...
he says you're false as a son.
Yeah, or
my failure as a father.
Yeah, you're right. Oh. Yeah, I was going to say, Lucy had never seen this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch this with any of your kids? Because they're young. They're too young for this.
Yeah.
So Lucy was in the room watching it. And immediately when Maximus left, she's like, oh, he's going to die. He's going to die. And then this is happening. And he's like right there. They're having this conversation. She's like, he's going to kill him. He's going to kill him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Dude, this movie, no matter how many times I watch it, I always feel like I know what's going to happen. But I'm always watching it with this like, please don't do what you're about to do.
Yeah.
Please do something else. As if my willpower can change the movie.
Right.
But it's so powerful enough for me to go, do something else. Don't kneel down in front of this guy right now.
Yeah, not again.
Yeah, not again.
And can we talk about the score? Hans Zimmer,
dude,
is killing it like he does. This track I remember because this is an album. This is a soundtrack for this is one that I had in my library before digitally streaming. And I remember because this track is called Patricide, which means to kill your father.
Wow.
Is a word for that.
Jeez. Yeah.
And it just adds so much. And I think is even in addition to the great filming and the great character acting, the music just set her up to go, oh, something devastating is about to happen right now.
That music is so epic. And it really is.
Oh, man, it ties it all together so well. And then Maximus, finds out he's dead. The Emperor needs you.
Oh, yeah.
He wakes him up.
So is it Quintus that wakes him up? Yeah, Quintus wakes him up. He's... He has like a knife. He has a knife in his hand.
And then he
like,
smiles at him.
Yeah. He's like, the Emperor needs you. And he's like, oh no. Like right then you're just feeling it for him because you know the truth.
Yep.
And
he walks in and then Commodus's face is what you see. And he's like, oh no.
Man. Like,
the Emperor.
Boy, the Emperor is dead,
And do you see him? He's checking his neck. He's looking at his neck to see if he was strangled in the background.
Yeah, I didn't notice that part. Yeah.
I had never noticed that before. And then he immediately knows what's up. And so does the sister.
Yeah, because she's in the corner crying.
Yep. And immediately Commodus puts him in a position so he can arrest him, which is basically, show me your allegiance. This is your one chance I'm going to give you.
Yeah.
And he just walks out.
He's like, I'm not having it.
And Commodus is already prepared for this. And he's already prepared Quintus for this.
Yeah,
and all the guards.
Jeez.
And Quintus comes in and he goes, what he says, like, Maximus, that was not wise.
He was like, yeah, that was not prudent.
The emperor has been slain. Yeah. And why are you armed, Quintus?
Yeah.
And that you feel too, because this guy has been serving, right, with his soldiers side by side. This is his friend. And now he realizes,
they were just having the conversation of like, why don't people know that they're conquered?
And he gets his duty as a soldier. He knows he has to do this.
Yeah.
So he gets the whole position and he's stuck and he gets sentenced to death.
Yep.
And then I wrote, oh snap.
Oh snap.
All of a sudden you see Maximus like, oh yeah, give me a soldier's death. And then he just takes over.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Knocks the guys out, kills them, doesn't let any of them sleep. That line, like the frost. Sometimes it makes the blade stick.
Yeah.
So many great lines.
So good.
I was going to keep a list of great quotes from this movie and I couldn't because they were just the whole movie.
Oh, don't worry. I know them all.
Yeah. But.
Praetorian! The guy's like, throws his goggles and dude, so good. And that's how he gets his, the slash on the arm.
Yeah.
Because he gets the horses and he rides off because they tell. Oh, he tells Quintus, promise me you'll look after my wife and son. And he was like, they will meet you in the afterlife. And then they hit him in the back of the head.
Boom,
dude.
That whole thing is so tragic, and that's another thing when I watch this movie, and I know it's going to happen, and every time it's awful.
And that's why when he escapes and he gets the horses, that's why he leaves in a rush because he's trying to get to his family first.
Yeah, and he can't.
But because of the cut on his arm, it kind of weakens him. He's bleeding out. He's passing out. It's a long ride. Man.
The
little kid when he's like, oh look, yeah, it's
on the soldiers, and you see the shot of him waiting and the mom in the background, like realizing what's going on, and she can't stop it, and then it's over.
Yeah.
Well, man,
it sounds like he says "daddy." I think the kid. Ooh, mama, it's a daddy.
I have to laugh because it's so sad.
It is,
but then the scenery and the music and all that stuff going on after. So he comes home. This is all they've been totally killed, and his whole family and house destroyed.
Burnt alive, and except for the chickens survive.
Hiding somewhere.
Crazy.
But then the cut to the like scenery and the Middle Eastern music that's playing and the stuff when the traders come and find him.
Yep.
I thought was such a great establishment, and it of course reminds you of some of other like Dune and whatever else.
Did you notice the when he's like passed out and they've taken him and he's like floating in the air basically and the dirt's moving underneath him? All the little flashbacks to like what's going to happen in the
sound you hear Jimon Hansu's voiceover.
Not yet. Yeah, not yet. And then but you also hear like the tigers. The roar of the tigers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I forget what else they flash, but they flash some stuff from basically the end of the movie.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Maybe they flash some stuff from this next movie that's coming out in November.
Oh gosh, I don't know how you can top this movie.
I don't know how they're gonna do it either. But okay, so we got to go through this. This is gonna be like an 8-hour conversation.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So he gets taken. You meet Proximo.
Yep.
And I read the actor did not like Russell Crowe.
Oh really?
At all.
Oh,
I guess they didn't get along.
That's crazy.
He just had a chip on his shoulder about him. Did you know also that he died 3 weeks before principal filming was done?
Yeah, and there's something about they had the option to like hire somebody else to do the.
It was in like the insurance clause, but they didn't. But they had to restructure the ending. Because I guess he was supposed to fight Proximo before he fought Commodus.
I don't know how that would have worked because he fights another gladiator, but the gladiator that he does fight, that they bring back from retirement is supposed to be Proximo, but so that portion of the movie, he's still alive. That's really him, I'm guessing. So how did they do that?
I don't know.
That's so interesting.
It was really his character though. When you die and die you shall, it shall be to the sound of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gladiators. I salute you.
And meanwhile, Maximus is scraping off his tattoo.
Yeah, of like the symbol of his gods. It's like, would that not offend him? He just smiles
like, yeah, I'm crazy. I don't care. I'm so mad. And what's the stuff that he chewed up and put inside of his?
I don't know what he put inside of it, but it must have been like larva.
Well,
the worm larva or whatever.
He was chewing it.
I don't know what it was.
It was really gross. I went to look it up and I couldn't find it.
I know he was going to clean it up. He's like, no, don't touch it. They'll clean it. You'll see, you know?
And so you get that he's like at the end, he doesn't want to live anymore. But then when Proximo says like, ultimately we're all dead men or whatever he says, and then Maximus picks up the dirt like he did at the first battle and you get like, oh, game on.
Yep.
He's in this thing.
Yep.
And he comes out for that first gladiator battle.
And he shows his power.
And you get all the audience, the middle, where are they? I don't know, somewhere in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh. Yeah, they cut a lot. There's a lot of battle stuff is happening. They eventually get to Rome, right?
Yeah,
that was pretty quick.
It does, yeah, because Commodus is in charge now.
Yep.
And one of the things that he does is he wants to get people on his side. So how do you get the mob to love you? You give them death and spectacle.
Yeah, something to look at to distract them from your terrible politics.
Exactly.
And your character that doesn't exist.
Exactly. So that he brings back the gladiatorial games,
even though they had been kicked out by Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah, his own father was like, no, this is barbaric. No.
That's why I wanted to look up when the Colosseum was built, because this movie takes place around like 150 or something like that. And the Colosseum was built almost 100 years earlier. Yeah. So it had been around for a while. But they're going to do 150 days of games.
Ugh,
they say.
Crazy.
Imagine the amount of people dying. I realize there are historical facts here. So.
Remember when the first battle, when they get to Rome and they see the Colosseum for the first time, Digimon Hanzo says like, I did not know men can build such things.
Yeah.
And it looks huge. It looks amazing. And Proximo is negotiating money with the guy.
With the voice.
The Battle of Carthage.
And the Battle of Carthage.
If you wanted to just kill my guys, why didn't you gather up all the beggars and the poor people on the street? We already did
that. Yeah. Dang. They were all the Christians.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Eaten by the lions. I mean, that's so crazy to think. I can't imagine. We are so far removed.
I know, man.
I'm suffering because we had to turn off the AC so we could record. I'm like, how crazy that this wasn't that. I mean, this was a while ago, but it's just hard to imagine.
Yeah.
And maybe that adds to why this movie is also so compelling when you start tying it to historical facts, because you realize like what humans over the course of history have done, are doing to each other.
Yeah.
And like this feels like it could happen. And it makes you feel like, oh, what if this was me?
Oh, man.
Like maybe I'm not a general or whatever. You're maybe identifying with the guy who's peeing himself.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And Maximus is all judged and I'm like, oh, this guy.
He gets killed right away.
Oh, totally.
His arm chopped off.
But they all like are starting to get a sense of he's building reputation.
Yeah.
Spaniard. Right?
Oh yeah. We like totally like skipped over the part where, he's like, I did not become famous because I killed quickly. Because I won the crowd. And he's like, isn't this what they want? So he goes out there, he kills like 4 guys right out the bat. This is not in Rome.
Everybody else sits in the thing. Yeah.
And everyone's just looking at him like, whoa, he killed these dudes so quickly. And he throws the sword. And he was like, are you not entertained?
Yeah.
Is this not why you are here? But he's taking that. So that's the reputation he's bringing to Rome.
You said it like Bane. That's who I was picturing.
No, Bane. Is this not why you are here? So that's why he has a reputation. And when he goes to Rome, and it's supposed to be like this massacre.
Yeah, the battle that they're reenacting.
The Battle of Carthage is supposed to be this massacre. And he gets the guys to, has anyone ever, fought in a war or, in an army? And they're like, yeah. All right, cool.
I served with you at Vindobona.
Yeah.
That's the only line. I don't know why I always remember that.
And he's like, all right, if we stick together, we will survive. And whatever comes out of that gate, and he gets them all to kind of come together. And epic scene too. All the bloodshed. I mean, you see Joaquin Phoenix's face when
his tongue.
When blood gets spilled, he's like,
come on, man.
Like, oh, he's like loving it. That chariot gets smashed into the wall. He's on the horse at the end when he's victorious, and people are like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I thought in the Battle of Carthage, Rome won. And he's like, yes, I'm sorry, sir. He was like, who is that man? They call him the Spaniard. I think I want to meet him. Oh, dude. No.
That's right. And you get, because Commodus has been doing his own thing. He's been being creepy with his nephew, watching over him because he's like the heir to the throne. Remember that whole scene? And the sister's like, what's going on here? He's getting ready to dissolve the Senate.
Yep.
You know, in the background. He's hitting on his sister.
Oh, gosh.
Will you stay with me?
Creepy, dude.
And she's like, you know I won't. He's like, then kiss me. You're the worst.
Such a,
he's disgusting. And
that's
so,
what his dad knew. He's not a moral man.
He's not a moral man.
Yeah.
and so then he walks down into the battle. So I skipped so much. But he's got Russell Crowe, that classic Gladiator helmet on, so he doesn't know it's him.
Yeah. Well, he puts the helmet on because he talks to Lucius right beforehand.
And he finds out that they're here.
He's like, oh, shoot, yeah. I want you to conceal my identity.
But what it does a really good job of doing also, besides concealing his identity, is highlighting that beard style. Do you remember when that was a thing?
That's right. Yeah.
I remember trying to grow a beard, which I couldn't, and shave it like that. I'm like, oh man,
so
I wish
funny.
Beard goals. Well, not anymore, but that kind of clipped on that chin strap.
So funny.
But yeah, I read that apparently that Colosseum scene included 400 cardboard cutouts.
Oh, wow.
I didn't notice them when I was watching.
Yeah, me neither. They did a good job.
As one, hold, diamond. You said. So he walks down there, and I think after all, like the visceral like violence, and you all this painting of the character and whatever, and you see them, and I don't remember the first time I watched this, but you're kind of hoping he just kills him there.
I do, yeah, but then that stupid kid runs in front.
Lucius
takes his chance
in the next movie, by the way.
Oh gosh,
the actor I think is different, but then he delivers that line. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Because he turns his back on him. My name is Gladiator. And he's like, that's right. It. And he turns around and he goes, how dare you show your back to me? You will remove your helmet and identify yourself. Love it.
So good. Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife.
And in this life or the next, I will have my vengeance. Wow. He just declares, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, it's over for you. Be afraid.
Yeah.
And so Commodus realizes, again, like, I got to stomp this guy out. Again. Somehow.
It's like, why won't you die?
Yeah. This guy can't, he's like a thorn in his heel. And so Lucilla, the sister, goes and visits.
She finds him and she knows that he's alive now. Yep.
I didn't write much about that, but then he's back with the gladiators, and they have that scene where you realize he's famous now, and he has the soup, and he's worried.
Well, yeah, she delivers that iconic. Today we saw a gladiator become more powerful than the emperor of Rome.
Oh yeah,
because he defied him. And people were like, live.
Oh,
live.
Yes, yeah.
And he's
oh my gosh, how am I missing all this?
He wanted to kill him.
We don't have time.
He wanted to kill him right then, but the crowd, the mob, with the pressure of the mob, he's like, if I killed him, then I would just be merciless, and I can't do that.
Yeah, and I would be doing what the emperor wants me to do.
Yeah.
And so that was like a slap in the face to Commodus too, to not do it.
Yeah.
I read that in ancient Rome, like the thumb thing is a real thing, but it's reverse.
Yeah.
Like, thumb up meant kill the guy.
Yeah.
Thumb down meant spare him.
I thought it was thumb sideways, and if you covered your thumb, that meant kill him. I don't know.
I have no idea.
There's so many different things, I think. But yeah, so she visits him in his whatever cell, gladiatorial place, and tells him, what did she say?
I just remember him like trying to like so violently angry because he's chained up.
Yeah. Because, they talk about how, did you mourn for your father when he died? It's like, I can't do anything because my son is the heir to the throne. I'm living in fear this whole time.
Yeah, she's stuck too.
Yeah. And somehow she's thinking, I can maybe use Maximus to take Commodus down.
Yeah.
That's basically where like her plot kind of starts for that.
And so then I guess he's getting a vision, if he didn't already have it, of still saving Rome somehow.
Maybe a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
Because when he's sitting in, so he has that scene with the guys where he fake chokes the friend.
Yeah, he gets the food.
Let me taste it.
And Digimon Hanzo looks at him like, don't do it. Don't eat it. And the other guy just takes a spoonful and he's like, And he laughs at him like, come on, man, you're not going to.
But then Djimon Hounsou's character says, you have a great name. He must kill your name before he kills you.
Yeah.
And you get the sense of this crazy power dynamic and his purpose.
So good.
And then he goes right back to the battle with the shadows and dust scene where he's about to go in.
Oh, yeah. We're shadows and dust, Maximus. Yeah. So Marcus Aurelius had a vision for Rome, and this is not it. He goes, Marcus Aurelius is dead, my friend.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter anymore. But he's like, it does. It does matter. We missed the part where they're talking about, the good of, like, the Colosseum. We're going back to the Colosseum when Proximo tells him we're going back to the Colosseum. I remember being there. He goes, oh, you won your freedom once? He's like, yeah, I won my freedom. Marcus Aurelius touched me on the shoulder.
and he
laughs. He laughs. He's like, you knew Marcus Aurelius. I did not say I knew him. I said he touched me once on the shoulder. And now Proximo's like, oh, dude, this guy really knew him.
Yeah.
Like, oh, mad respect now.
Does he ever know that? I never get the sense of whether or not.
Yeah, because he calls him general.
He does?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
He calls him general. I think, towards the end when he's like, hey, you have very persuasive friends. You won your freedom. Here, go. He says, hey, general, you won your freedom, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he calls him general a couple times.
Yeah. Maybe
it's so great.
I need a different format for going through this stuff because it is like so much to miss and it's hard to go in order.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's just the good parts. We have to just look fondly on the good parts.
Oh, there's so much. Many. Yeah, that's what I feel like with this movie. And so he battles that big tiger guy. Tigress? Is that his name?
I forget his name, yeah. But he comes out of retirement because they think they're like, okay, this guy's definitely going to kill Maximus.
And if he doesn't, the tigers will.
Yeah, oh my gosh. That's really cool how they comped in the tigers because they're not really there when that's happening.
There are, in some of the shots, there were no tigers, I read, closer than 15 feet.
Yeah, but the way they make them look so close call when they like swipe, Oh gosh.
I also read that they had guys with tranquilizer darts on site.
Oh, ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to. Will tigers really attack like that unless they're like starving? Because isn't that something that they did in Rome? Like they purposely starved them so that when they released them to people like that, they would like go after them and try to eat them.
That would be the way to do it. But somehow still after all that, I think it would be cool to have a pet tiger.
Yeah, right?
Not in the real world, but I just like the idea of a giant cat like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
You can go to Texas and now get a cat like that.
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy.
I know. The Tiger King.
I'm more let's live with Jasmine and the Sultan in the palace and have a pet tiger.
A pet tiger. Really nice pet tiger. A gentle tiger.
Raja.
So crazy. But he kills that guy.
Kill. Which
he doesn't kill him. He spares him because the emperor is like, yeah, go ahead and kill him.
Oh, was this the one where this is? Man, I'm getting all mixed up.
It's twice. The mob, basically, the first time he meets Marcus, Maximus. No.
Maximus.
So Maximus reveals himself to Commodus.
I hope people have watched this movie because we're doing a terrible job.
In the actual Colosseum, the people, because he's rebellious, the emperor can kill him.
Yeah.
Right? Because he turned his back on him. But the mob says, no, let him live. And he's like, gosh, I got to let him live. And so in this instance, he defeats the guy. He's on the ground. He's like, all right, what do I do? You want me to kill him or not? And the mob is like, yeah, kill. Commodus goes, yes, kill him. And then he drops the axe. And he's
Maximus the Merciful.
And that's when you get that.
That's right.
And he's like, man, like he defies Commodus at every turn.
Yeah. I wrote down here, not even that because we noticed it sounded like they were all going, ew. And now that was all I could hear. Lucy pointed out. I was like, that does sound like that. Ew.
That's so funny.
And talk about ew, when he stabs that guy in the foot.
Oh, yeah.
Bleeds out of his mouth. I still don't quite know why, but terrible.
But then after this is when all of the plots happen to kind of kill Commodus and take over. Right?
Yeah.
What's her name? Lucilla gets the senator to come visit Maximus.
Right.
And Maximus is telling him, I will do this thing. I will plot with you now.
This is the part of the movie that I don't remember as well. I don't know why. It's still great.
Yeah.
Because up until the point even where he sees his old servant, what's the guy's name? Cicero.
Mm-hmm.
And he hands over the thing of his wife and son.
Yeah.
Which, was so...
Like, they're almost like prayer beads at this point, yeah.
But you're like, oh, what did he give him? And like, oh...
Little mom and son action figures.
Action figures. Karate chop action. And then you go back to whiny Commodus, which if you want to say it like an Australian, you would say he's whinging.
He's whinging, yes.
He's just so he can't take it.
Yeah.
He's so upset, but he's just whining about it.
He's like, he won't die, you know?
Yeah.
They lied to me about him being dead, all that kind of stuff. That happens prior. But yes, he's just so, he's terribly vexed.
He's very vexed.
It vexes me. I'm terribly vexed. There's a scene in the extra scenes in the cut that I watched where when he finds out Maximus is alive, he kind of takes action against like the soldiers that were in charge of killing Maximus the first time.
The soldiers?
The soldiers, yeah. So he kind of has them lined up in like a firing squad kind of way.
Yeah.
He's talking to Quintus about like, hey, these guys must have known Maximus survived. And Quintus is like, they didn't know. You know, they thought a raid came in and murdered those guys or whatever. They're good soldiers. And he's like, okay, they're good soldiers. He gets what are the archers ready to fire. Mm-hmm. So they cock back, they're ready to fire, but then he keeps talking. And he tells Quintus, like, wait, doesn't a captain always know what's going on? He's like, yeah. He's like, okay, so if you knew what was going on, didn't that mean you're the one to blame for this? While the guys are like struggling to hold their arrows.
Yeah.
And he makes Quintus walk in front of them. And while he's talking, and the guys are like, oh my gosh, if I let go of my arrow, it's going to hit them. And he's like, fine, if you didn't know, then you give the order to kill them. And he finally walks away and he's like, fire. He makes Quintus fire on the soldiers. He doesn't do it himself.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's this like scene of like, I'm really pissed that this guy is still alive.
Yeah.
And you guys didn't do it.
Well, and you think about it, I mean, certainly they must have known.
Somehow.
I mean, there's no dead body of Maximus.
Yeah. And the two horses are gone.
Yeah.
I mean, if Quintus is telling the truth, then maybe they got raided and they took him as a hostage and they took the horses.
But wouldn't you report and say something?
Exactly. So it was a really cool scene of establishment of like how evil he is to make the other guy kill his own soldiers.
Yeah. And that's not to say, Commodus is at all justifiable, but it does put him in a more, he's not just like cackling evil villain.
Yeah.
You're not quite identifying with him, but you get it.
Yeah. So crazy. Yeah.
He keeps getting backed into this corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's back. At some point, they send the soldiers for the senator, right? The one that's conspiring now.
Yeah, because but prior to that, he's talking to another guy in the Senate, and they're like, "What should we do? XYZ, you got to kill him. How do I kill him? Let's do that." He goes, "You know what? Follow every senator."
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, "Okay, great. Have every senator followed." And when they are conspiring to kind of, they bring Proximo in, right, to conspire to let the senator come talk to Maximus and I keep forgetting her name.
Oh, Lucilla.
There's a scene where Proximo is sitting there about to find the messenger guy for one of the senators.
Mm-hmm.
But before he goes up to talk to him, he notices other guys just standing around staring like, oh, we're being watched.
This is an extra scene?
This is an extra scene. And so when he goes to Maximus, he goes, hey, this is getting too dangerous for me. Because he realizes we're being watched.
Okay.
So that's how it all breaks down because you're if you don't watch those scenes, you wonder how in the world did the soldiers know to go and
I just
arrest these guys.
They got him. I didn't really know.
Yeah, but they kind of fill that in of like, oh, they've been watched. They watched that guy go talk to Proximo.
And Proximo wasn't quite on their side. I remember that line where he's like, "You killed them. He killed the man who set you free."
Yep.
It's like trying to get him on.
On board. Yep, exactly.
Mm.
It was super interesting how like the conspiring and all that kind of stuff, and then he finds out. Commodus finds out that his sister is conspiring against him.
Ugh, that scene.
That whole scene with his nephew. Oh.
Life is a frightful dream.
Because did I ever tell you the story of our ancestor? You know, of a family member conspiring.
Busy little bee.
Yes. And you know what happened next, Lucius? No, Uncle. The busy little bee told the emperor everything.
But is that where he like, because he keeps getting closer and closer to like, you're not quite kissing her.
Yeah.
Ugh, yuck. I just wrote yuck 100 times. I was like, get out of there.
I know.
But yeah, when he's talking to Lucius, was he sword fighting? What's he kind of like Commodus does?
Yeah.
What's he doing? I just wrote down, I can't remember the scene now because he's like, there.
Yeah,
What's
I don't know why he's saying there. Yeah, but he's basically like play fighting with one of the servants. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Are you guys playing Legionnaires? No, I'm a gladiator. You're a gladiator.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. He's like,
oh man, and he can't take it. I'm Maximus, the savior of Rome.
And he's like, oh, the savior of Rome. Where did you hear that from?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right.
Little kid, man, sabotaged the whole thing.
That's right. And he told him the story of Mark Antony. Okay, we got to get to the end here. So open the gate, Proximo.
Oh, that's so awesome. Do you want to die, old man?
And so you get the Proximo's finally on his side.
Yep.
You know, he won't let the soldiers in to get Maximus, even though
brings him the
sent
keys.
them.
Yeah, brings him the keys and get out. And he goes, congratulations, you've won your freedom.
And that's the last Shadows and Dust.
Yep.
Shadows and Dust, he's facing out of the window.
Yep, and he gets killed. Yep.
Was that not him?
No, that was not him. So when he gets to, when he goes to Maximus with the keys, all of those scenes were all CGI'd. There's a body double and the faces of other scenes they put in.
Really?
When he's looking at him like that, and he says, I think Proximo, you're in
danger of becoming a good man.
Yeah, and he looks at him. Ha! Walks away.
No,
that is CGI.
No way.
Yeah, that part is CGI, and then that whole scene there where he's looking at him through the bars of the cage or whatever. That's all CG.
Yeah,
the face.
And then you go back. Is that when you go back to Commodus with his sister? When
it's all happening like kind of during that. Yeah.
It's just kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
But when he yells at, "Am I not merciful?"
Oh, that's afterwards. Because they capture Maximus. All the gladiators fight. Yep. He goes to the back. He sees
Cicero. Yeah.
He sees Cicero. He does the whistle. And he's like, Maximus. And then the horse runs away. He gets hung. He gets arrowed in the chest. Yeah, and they capture him. And you go back to
Commodus with
Commodus.
He's talking, and then she's sitting there.
Yep. And
basically, you need to just go along with my plan.
Yep. And he tells her, right, like, you're going to give me an heir of pure blood. You're not going to complain. Yeah. He looks at her and he's like, and I'm going to be merciful with you, right? Because I am. And he's like, Aren't I merciful? And she doesn't respond. And that's when he yells out, am I not merciful?
I wrote that down because I read that it wasn't planned for him to yell that.
Oh, really?
So her kind of reaction there
is real.
Yeah, it's real.
So good. So good. I mean, not good on him, but such a good actor.
Yeah.
And moment.
I don't know about his method acting.
Yeah. And this is where, it all kind of culminates to the last fight scene between Commodus and Maximus.
And right before he goes out, he meets him underground.
And he tells him, like, you're going to fight me. He's like, you were going to fight me? What? Really? He's like, what? You think I'm afraid? I'm not afraid. He's like, you've been afraid your entire life.
Oh.
Yeah. So crazy.
Yeah. And then he stabs him in the back.
Yep. He stabs him like
somewhere
like underneath
somewhere.
His shoulder, close to, I think it was probably like really close to his rib. I think he probably hit his lung or something.
Yeah. So he's basically dying.
Yeah, he maimed him. Crazy.
But then the score again was so good. The music is so good here. And this is the part that reminded me of Dune, actually, when I heard it.
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, this sounds. I have to go back to the track because it sounds very similar.
Yeah, but that fight scene was really cool. How he basically defeats Commodus with one arm tied behind his back, basically.
Right.
Because he's fighting with just that one arm, with that sword. Because he's trying to he's clenching where his wound is with his other arm.
Yep.
And using the other arm with the sword. Such a good fight. Commodus is like, how am I not beating this guy?
Yeah, I've been training since the first scene of this movie. with my shirt off.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And then it just ends. Lucy's like, where'd his sword go? Oh, in his neck.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love how the end, Maximus tells Commodus, Maximus and Quintus are having a conversation right before.
Mm-hmm.
When he's just like, hey, man, I'm just a soldier. I just obey, And I forget what he says to him, but basically it's like, you just obey, like even the thing that's wrong. And at the end, when Commodus loses his sword, he's like, Quintus, give me your sword. He's like, nope. Anyone, give me your sword. And then Commodus is like, everyone, sheathe your sword.
Sheathe your swords, yeah.
Oof. He's like, no, this is going to be you wanted this, you finish it.
Yeah.
And I think he knew Maximus was going to kill him anyway.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it was over at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't feel at any point in this movie, and I don't know if I'm desensitized, but the violence didn't seem like gratuitous. There were moments where you're like spattering blood and then heads chopped off and whatever.
Like a whole body getting split in half.
Oh yeah, that's that woman soldier, whatever. Yeah. But it felt like it all fit. It all fit.
Yeah.
Like it just seemed to work.
Yeah, it really did.
To build the story and get you to this point where, and then he kills him in a way that feels like intimate. You know?
Yeah, he does. I mean, in the same way that he killed his father.
Right.
Well. Not the same way, but intimate that way.
Very up close and personal.
Close, yeah.
Yeah, because you're in this huge Colosseum and then they bring you down to just this one person versus one person moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then when he's, when he finally finishes him off, even beforehand, he starts seeing himself in the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
About to open that
the
door.
Little fields of wheat in the door.
Yep.
Yeah.
The hot dogs on a stick. Hot dog on the stick plants.
And, and she's yelling after him, Maximus, and he's like, oh, Lucius is safe. He's like taking care of all the loose ends. Rome's taken care of. You're taken care of.
Yeah.
Commodus is taken care of.
Yep.
I've done everything. I've done what I need to do. Now I can finally go and see my family.
Yeah. Go to them.
Go to them.
Is Rome worth one good man's life?
Ba da 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 da.
So good.
He was a soldier of Rome. Yeah, honor him.
Honor him.
And Lucius helps him, right?
Not really.
Not really, but he goes there to just sort of.
Yeah. That kid was annoying.
You didn't like him?
No, I don't like that kid at all.
He was kind of in the way.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, that's the point, isn't it?
Yep.
You think he would have been evil when he grew up?
He probably is. That's what the next movie is.
I was going to ask you. You think he's going to be?
Because there's an emperor again. Like in that movie. So I don't know if that means. Yeah, so he definitely has to be bad.
Yep. And then, but the very final, is it the final line where Jimon Hansu, whose character, I don't remember his character this whole time, his character name.
Yeah.
But he's like,
we are free.
And we'll see you again, right?
Yeah.
But not yet.
But not yet.
And is that the voiceover?
Not yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Not yet.
Oh, with the music. I love this movie.
It's so good.
And it still felt good at the end. Like, was there stuff coming back to it? You said you've seen it a million times.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I've been far enough removed to not remember it. But it's been a while since I sat down and watched it.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think every time I see this movie, it's pretty satisfying. The cinematography, the music, the acting is just on point. The way they put everything together.
I read that Hans Zimmer's score is one of the best-selling movie soundtracks of all time. This one.
On this one, wow.
Yeah. And did you know, so Commodus was a real person.
Yeah. Marcus Aurelius, was a real person.
And he was initially I don't know how it played out, how people saw him in this movie, but the people of Rome liked him at first. And he was obviously a problem. It says he lost that status through dramatic acts of megalomania. So I assume similar to what we're seeing in the movie.
Yeah.
And he's often considered the initiator of the fall of Rome. So basically people really, by the end, did not like him. It says they poisoned him and he threw it up. And then they strangled him.
Wow. They're like, that didn't work. We're really going to kill you.
Like, whatever.
Crazy.
But he had really done a lot to make his name known. Like he was really kind of a narcissist.
Yeah. And they also kind of tease a little bit to like Marcus Aurelius, like writing in his journals. Because later on, they find his journals and he's like one of the key figures of like Stoicism,
mm-hmm.
And he's super full of wisdom. And they kind of tease to that a little bit. Like, you're writing in your journals. you wrote the virtues, and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
Because Marcus Aurelius was very wise,
Yeah.
I think they portrayed that pretty well too.
I mean, that's why he was a headmaster of the school for witchcraft and wizardry.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I read that after all, like the gladiatorial scenes, Russell Crowe lost all the feeling in his right forefinger for 2 years.
What?
After one of the sword fights.
Wow. Did he get like hit or something?
Yeah, something. He had a bunch of injuries. He injured his Achilles tendon. He broke a bone in his foot. He cracked a bone in his hip, and he popped a few bicep tendons out of their sockets.
Wow.
So
it's a lot.
He put in the work.
He did. It was well worth it.
That's why he can be Zeus now in a terrible Thor movie.
Yeah. That movie was terrible.
Did you realize this? And I read this and then I was like, oh yeah. A central part of this movie's main battle theme, the score, was used almost identically from the famous part of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I thought that sounded familiar. Yeah, for sure. Like very piratey.
And
so
maybe if we can uplift the sad ending for Maximus's wife, Giannina Faccio. She married Ridley Scott in 2015.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
She still can't get the black off her feet.
Yeah. Oh, my God. And the snot.
That's snot. Ugh. Did they have to do that?
I don't know.
Talk about things I wish would change every time I watch that movie.
Yeah, he went all out on that one.
Ugh.
Somebody blow some pepper in my face.
How do you even do that?
I don't know. They probably shot up a bunch of like stuff up his nose. I don't know.
Yeah, I would love a behind the scenes tour of this. Now that I know this movie so well, to just see some stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm fascinated by it's just so well done.
It is really well done.
I mean,
and those lines, all those lines, Proximo and Maximus. I love Proximo's character.
Yeah.
Remember that portion where the guy's trying to sell him the slaves, and he's like, "You sold me queer giraffes."
You sold me queer to that Arab guy. The guy who sold him the giraffes, his voice sounded so much like the guy from Star Wars Episode 1 that owns Anakin, the flying guy.
Oh, yeah.
Watto?
Watto, yeah.
I looked it up. I don't think it's the same guy, or at least I couldn't find it, but I was almost certain it was the same guy.
He's in The Mummy.
Is he?
With, what's that guy's name? In The Mummy, the original Mummy.
Brendan Fraser?
Yeah, he's in The Mummy.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Well, I don't even know if there's a point saying, but Josue, how do you feel about this? What do you think of this?
This holds up. This is not nostalgia. This holds up.
I mean,
I think everybody should see this movie.
I will
at least once.
Add the caveat that my children, I think because I love this movie so much, were not as into it.
Really?
It was a good movie. No doubt. Here's the problem.
It's for a mature audience for sure.
Maybe. And that sounds almost like snooty, but I think really, because I could not, I'm like, just pay attention and you will love this.
There's a lot of dialogue. You just have to follow along a lot. Yeah.
And meanwhile, because two of our guys were too young. So they're in this other room. And my house is an echo chamber.
Yeah.
Watching the first Avengers movie. So all the time where like the sound dials back and you're having this intimate dialogue, you can hear like explosions and Captain America and Tony Stark in the background and all this stuff going on, which is already distracting. And then I'm like, put your phone down.
Yeah.
Which I feel hypocritical because like I said, I'm taking notes on my computer. But like just watch this because it's so well done.
Yeah.
And I feel like
they'll like it later on.
Yeah, it
hopefully
in a way that I feel like it feels more universal than other things. There are other things I try and get my kids to watch that I love that I get. This might not be your favorite.
I think that this movie definitely started the trend of the whole, Greek times, old stuff. I think Game of Thrones takes a beat from this. That whole other show that came out called Spartacus or something like that was about gladiators and things like that.
But I think certainly before this, you had Ben-Hur and,
true. But I think they did such a great job in the modern sense to kind of propel everything else, that some of the stuff we see today.
Yeah. And it makes you feel like you're learning something. Even though you're not.
Even though you're not.
You kind of are. It just, it feels grounded in a great way. It feels, like we said, between the music and the actors and the scenery, even the shots of Rome, that you're like, okay, I don't know exactly how they did this. It might not look 100% real at times, but I think they just did a great job.
They really did. I love this movie. I think it's one of my top movies. I don't know if it's top 5, top 10, but it's up there for sure.
Yeah. I could easily rewatch it. I have a couple things I want to close the loop on, but I don't have all the details together yet. So we'll come back to it. But as far as like what we're currently consuming, we finally, now that the Olympics ended, right before school started, we finished Umbrella Academy.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta say, I was a little disappointed.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta watch this thing.
It was, talk about a series just that throughout I enjoyed, kept doing different things, great actors in it, fun storyline, unique, different even from the comics, because I went back and I read those. Yeah. So it takes its own thing, characters that you love, characters that you hate, all that stuff. And this final season has Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally in it.
Oh, okay.
Which is also like they play kind of a fun, unique role. They do another different thing, but it got to the end and there are fantastical elements in this the whole way through.
Yeah.
So you have that problem of having to tie a bow on something like that and sort of explain it and sort of not.
Yeah.
And I didn't, my wife and daughter, they liked it. They liked the way that it wrapped up.
Huh.
So I guess it was like a satisfying conclusion, but from a critical standpoint, watching, there were only 6 episodes. When we got to the last episode, I'm like, how are they going to wrap this up? And it felt like, oh, this is too fast. This doesn't make sense. What happened there? Time has gone by. So I don't know if there was like a budgetary thing, if it was a time thing, if it was shot when there was a writer's strike. Like it just felt like
probably
something here didn't add up the way the other ones did. And I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I was a little like, come on.
Wow.
They had just done so good.
Yeah. I wrapped up watching the latest season of Game of Thrones,
whatever the new series is.
The House of Dragon.
Yeah.
I think that wrapped up really well.
Did it?
Yeah.
I've never seen any of it.
Yeah. Some of the stuff in the middle kind of felt like filler. I know they have to do that, but I think it ended up really well, kind of set it up for the next season pretty cool. And then I finished up watching The Bear. The cinematography on that is amazing. Just like how they show emotion, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Really well written, just really well shot. I mean, if you like artistic like cinematography, man, it's shot so well. And then the way they show emotion, the anxiety, the pressure of like that those characters go through, like, man, okay.
I think that's why I haven't watched it, because I don't want the anxiety.
Yeah.
I keep hearing, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels different than Gladiator to me.
Yeah.
Maybe because Gladiator is going to be done in 2 hours.
Exactly. Yeah. It's, it moves along. But no, I mean, I like the way how the season was about like the restaurant and getting, critic. Critic has to like talk about your restaurant, and you're trying to push for a successful, unique Michelin star, possibly restaurant. And it culminates with like, what's going to happen? What does the review look like?
What does he make? It's ratatouille.
What are they going to end up saying about the restaurant, and how does that affect the future? And I think they kind of tease,
but you
what's
don't
going to
find
happen,
out.
but you don't find out. In the end, he finally gets like a message of like what the review is, and you're like, oh. Like and you have to just wait for next season.
Of course.
Yeah, it's so good.
No, it's good TV making.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you planning on watching, I can't remember if you watched the last one, the next season of Rings of Power when it comes out?
Oh, yeah. I'll watch it, definitely.
Yeah.
When does it come out?
It's this month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So soon.
It's funny. It's probably right. It's probably now. When this episode is coming out, it's probably right now. That's coming out. I think
that's
week
awesome.
to week too, that one was, right?
Yeah, it was.
Are you going to go back and rewatch the first season? I want to, but it's like a time thing. Even all this stuff we're talking about, I'm like, how have I watched all this stuff?
I'll probably YouTube a recap.
Yeah.
Some of those guys do a really good job of just recapping.
Yeah. There's too much now. That's the hardest part.
There's a lot.
It's more than back in the day when we were watching, even Avengers and stuff.
I know.
Good Lord.
It took you, it was spaced out a little more.
You have to pick, and choose what you want to watch. There's just no time.
There's a lot, yeah.
Just last question. When you were a kid watching stuff, were you watching stuff with your family or on your own?
Oh, definitely with the family.
All the time?
For the most part, it was either with my brothers or the entire family.
Because, I guess maybe with parents is more my question because I'm trying to remember. I remember watching stuff with my siblings and watching stuff with my parents, but maybe not all the time because I'm thinking every time my kids are watching something, I'm like, oh, I want to watch this with you. But there's just not been time.
Yeah, for sure.
We're all out here living our lives.
Yep. I just remember as growing up, we all had at some point, we all had TVs in our rooms. So my parents could be watching something completely different than we were. And then we had a TV in the living room. And that's the one we all watched together. So,
which I like.
Yeah.
We still try and set our house up like that.
And that was mainly because we were like playing video games in our room and not watching TV. So when we did watch something, we normally would watch it all together.
Yeah.
But if there was something that we wanted to watch, like a TV show or something completely different, my parents were watching like Univision, and we were watching, Nickelodeon or whatever.
When we were, we moved across the country, Arizona, and I remember having a small, we had no TV for a while, and I had this small black and white TV that I got for free or cheap or something somewhere.
Yeah.
And you only got it was bunny ears, so channels. You got almost nothing, and it was in black and white. And one channel I got was probably PBS.
Oh.
And because I remember watching Are You Being Served, which is this British sitcom.
What?
Which is it's the weirdest thing to watch. And my brother and probably sister know it because I would watch it. Jimmy was in the room with me, And so we could quote this to each other and understand it. But I don't know how many people in the U.S. know it. I don't even know if it'd be worth revisiting for the podcast.
No, I've never heard it.
You kind of have to sit through multiple episodes before you start getting these characters. And it's funny, but it's British comedy. It's the weirdest. Anyway, I don't think my parents know that one. Maybe some of it. All right, well, that's what we think about this. But I am curious if anybody else has opinions, things we didn't talk about. It's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of ground.
We really did.
But I really do want to know what other people's opinions are. If you ever have an opinion and you want to let us know, if you're in Spotify right now and you scroll down, you can obviously leave a comment, but you can also vote on whether you think it holds up or it's pure nostalgia. And that'll be open for a few weeks now. So
awesome.
I figured that out. So you have a couple weeks. If you don't get to listen to this right away, you can still vote. And you can email us directly. So if you have ideas of other epic movies that we can cover, just email us at bloodandgore@wdyt.show. Or if that's too long, just hi at WDYT. That's what do you think? And if you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts,
yes, please give us a rating.
Spotify, YouTube, we are everywhere. Anywhere you can give us a thumb.
Subscribe on YouTube.
Subscribe, and we have more coming soon. We're planning already our next test kitchen.
For sure.
Test kitchen.
Yeah.
Test kitchen. Yeah. Thanks, Josue, for a great conversation.
Yeah, this is great.
Another great suggestion. I'm looking forward to getting together next time to talk about what you think of this.